Hey, Ecology students, it's Mr. Frida. I'm here to tell you a little bit about what your goal is for today on Monday. Campbell and I are both gone from class today, but we still need you to continue to work towards getting a real breadth and depth of experience in our mammal unit. And this is something that we would normally do a week from now, but we're sort of bumping it up to now to make sure that we use our class time as efficiently as possible. And if you took first semester ecology, one thing that you may remember is that we did an arthropod brochure for particular arthropods that we were studying during that semester. Well, we do the same thing in second semester because one of our goals is to make sure that you get a real depth of experience in investigating a mammal. Campbell and I talked about this, and what the guest teacher is going to do is to lay out a series of slips of paper on a desk for you all to pick from. We want you to be able to have a choice as to the mammal that you are researching, but it is super critical that you indicate to the guest teacher which mammal you selected. And so that may be different for different classes. There may be a sheet that is sent around that you need to put your name down and the mammal next to it, or the guest teacher may be writing it down. But the key is that you need to indicate to the guest teacher which mammal you selected. If you notice on the instruction sheet here, there's a spot for you to write down what your mammal is. And what you're going to do is you're going to do some both online and physical book research about this mammal. Ecologists have been studying mammals for a very, very, very long time, and there are lots of book resources for this. So there will be books out on the tables and magazines, actually, zoology books, animal encyclopedias. You can use regular encyclopedias from the library if you want. Nebraska Land magazines will be out there. There are field guides. If you take a trip to the zoo this coming weekend and you want to incorporate that in your project, if your mammal is there, feel free to take a picture of the placard for your particular mammal at the zoo. Internet sites, and I'm going to show you some of those internet resources here shortly. The key is that you need a minimum of 4 different sources. 2 of them should be non-internet. I do want to emphasize for you that part of your grade for this is going to be based upon you accurately citing your sources. And it is very, very important that you not only indicate which websites you use. You don't need all the nitty-gritty details for the website. You really just need everything that goes from the HTTPS to the .com or the .edu or anything like that, just so we know where you were exploring. And then we're going to expect you to use an established style, such as AMA, or whatever bibliography style you would like to use for the book and magazine resources. I also want to point out just real quick on Blackboard where you can find some of the established, well-known internet resources. And so if you go to 2019 Spring Ecology and click on it, whoops, looks like I was not logged in. My apologies, so I'll take a little bit of time to do that. And of course, if you go over to the mammals unit on the left-hand side and click on it, and then as you scroll down here, this will be under mammal assignments, I believe. And so animaldiversity.ummz.umich.edu is a mammal website. That's a main website that we can recommend to you to get started with. And then there's also wildclassroom.com right here. And so these would be really good places for you to start. Now, many of you are going to be wondering, what sort of things should I be including in my research, and where is this research going to lead? You're going to write in your own words a brochure. And this is going to be a 2-page brochure, and we're going to do it on Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark is a resource that we have at Westside Community Schools that we want to try out here. We think it's going to be less overall cumbersome than using other sorts of software for this, such as Word or Pages, and we just want to give it a go. And so I'm going to take you through that here shortly as well. You need to make sure that you get a detailed, common, and scientific names for your particular mammal. That means going from kingdom all the way through species. So it should be kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. That's 7 names, scientific names, that you need to have for your mammal. You need to make sure that you have maps of the current, right now, and if you can find it, historical distribution of your mammal within North America. Or if you have a mammal that lives outside of North America, its appropriate range. There should also be a written description describing it as well. You need the natural history of this mammal, and natural history is kind of a catch-all term that we use in ecology to basically mean all the ways in which an organism survives, reproduces, and behaves, what its physical appearance is, basically everything that you can find about it. And there's a list right here: physical appearance, preferred habitats, eating habits, what are its natural enemies, mating behavior, how does it take care of its young, how does it defend its territory if it has one, what are its daily and yearly cycles for various behaviors. Many mammals behave differently at different times of years based upon necessity of the environment. As much information that you can, that you find interesting from your research. And folks, when you're doing your brochure, this is going to be 2 pages. Each page is going to be 3 vertical panels. We want to try to challenge you to include as much information as you possibly can. Also, I want to be very clear about this. All of this information needs to be in your own words. Mr. Campbell and I can tell when you copy something directly from a website or a book source to your brochure. Okay, because it's not how you talk in your everyday life. That is plagiarism. It is unacceptable. You have to rewrite what you find in your own words. There will be some similarities, but you need to do your best to rewrite it in your own words. You need to have at least one drawing or picture of your mammal, including the habitat map, don't forget, and you could include like maybe 1 or 2 more. The key is we must not fall into this trap of your brochure being a solid wall of pictures and no ideas or facts. It's the like 75% of the space of your brochure should be informational. This is being replaced by Adobe Spark, so you can ignore this. Okay, and I already talked about the bibliography. Now, here's some examples of things that are going to be out on the table from you to pick from. And so if you're looking back at this video, this is what we're going to pick from right here. Okay, so that being said, I now want to take you on a tour of Adobe Spark so that you can get started. You're going to go to spark.adobe.com and you click on Login, and you are a student, and so you log in with your school account and you use your school email address and whatever your school password is, and that should work. Go to Enterprise ID. We're going to get spinning wheel of death for a little bit. Okay, and then you click your school account and it'll sign you in. Okay, so here we are in Adobe Spark. You're going to need to make 2 pages for this. One of the things that I don't like about Adobe Spark, but we're going to live with it, is that it only allows you to do 1 page at a time. And so you'll notice that I was sort of playing around with this, and I made 2 files here. I made Brochure 1 and Brochure 2. If you make 2 files, you can log into Adobe Spark in 2 browser windows and click on your first file in one browser window and your second file in another browser window. So if I were to do that, I would make another browser window here. I would go to spark.adobe.com. I'm already logged in, so it should show it right here. And so since I'm now logged into Adobe Spark in 2 tabs, when I make 2 files, I can open 1 file in each tab. So this is still going to load for a while, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my Brochure 1 when I want to edit this one. And then once this loads, I would click on Brochure 2 once this one loads so that I had my 2 separate pages open. Now, I don't know why this is taking forever to load, whatever. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you the process of creating a file. So you're going to hit the plus button up here, and it's going to give you a bunch of choices. As you scroll down here, you can either scroll down and find it, or you can just search. It's probably just easiest for you to search for brochure, and it'll be right at the top. Okay, so these are, let me make sure, no, that's not it. Hold on. Maybe we should just scroll down here because there it is. We're gonna go. You want to go down to champion your cause, and brochure is this one right here. Okay, so you're gonna create a brochure file. You got to do this twice. Okay, notice how this one, hey, green, nice. All these objects on the brochure can be moved around. You can delete them, you can move them around. What you're probably going to need to do for this to get started, I'm honestly going to recommend that you delete everything that's on a brochure page. You can change the background to a different picture, like maybe going to a neutral color maybe would be best here instead of a picture. And so as you scroll down for things, you can change it. So instead of a picture, I could go with color fill, and I could do a neutral color here instead, and then that would make it a lot easier to see it. So I would probably just go through here and delete everything that you see here, but you got to make sure that you have 3 panels. So look right here how it suggested a 3-panel brochure for me. Boom. Now you could click on each of these panels and change their colors to be whatever you want. My students are going to be submitting these as PDFs. Okay. I don't want to speak for Mr. Campbell because he has a choice as to in terms of how it's going to be submitted, but you would then have the freedom to color these panels whatever you'd want. There is the ability to insert pictures and other things, but before we get to that, look up here where it says projects and my post. You're going to want to name this. What I really like you to do is with your last name and the number 1 for your first one. Okay, so projects Friday 1. And I mean, if you use this for other classes, if you want to go with Friday Ecology 1, you could do that as well. You can always change it, okay, a little later on. Then, to add different things, notice how there's the add button right here, add text. You click on that. Now notice how it just gives you this bar right here. What I'm going to recommend that you do is that you open up a Word document, and when you find things that you want to research, this will be a good opportunity for you to practice writing things in your own words as well. So like make a blank Word document, pages document, test document, it doesn't really matter. And so my mammals range is from the Nebraska border south into Mexico. That's like a start, okay? And so there would be something that I'd want to include in here. So I'm going to copy that text. I'm going to barf it in here. I'm going to click done, okay? And it's going to throw it in there for me. Now, notice how this is kind of ridiculous, okay? So you want to do things like change the text size maybe to make it a little bit smaller. You can drag this box around, and then note that you'll be able to add things to this box and it will resize it. The way that I want you to think about this is that you want to have this 3-panel brochure. For each page, you're going to do this twice, remember. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential blocks of text. But then don't forget that you can also add photos. And there is a place for you to upload photos here. Or you can find free photos is going to be best for us. And so let's say that I picked, and I got to make sure that I spell it correctly. Okay, I always get weasel wrong. It's E-L. Yeah, okay. Now you want to try to get your own, the limitation of this search function is that you want to try to get your own, the actual mammal that you're going to be researching. And so notice how in this example it's filling up the whole panel. You're gonna need to play around with it in order to figure out how to like resize it so that it will fit within a panel. Okay. I'm not going to do it here because I want to keep this video down to a reasonable size. But anyway, here would be my first one. Let's check back over here. Okay, I still have spinning wheel of death. I don't know what's going on here, but trust me, folks, if you open up more than one Adobe Spark file, you should be able to have 2 files open at the same time. So if I just hit the plus button here and scroll down, I can get another brochure going, and this page I'm going to label Friday Brochure 2. Okay, so I'll go over here, Friday Brochure 2. This will auto-save as you update things, and so we don't have to worry about saving, and it will all be contained within your Google account. So those are the instructions. That's the basics of how to use Adobe Spark. You know, try not to spend too much time playing around with the features when you could be using the time to build your brochure. Play is a component of this, but it also needs to be purposeful play. So keep that in mind, okay? One last thing, like this single sentence is not enough information for that part of the panel. You're going to need some more information here as well. So keep that done. So thanks for watching. And we're going to work on this brochure for at least 2 class days. But after that, you're probably not going to have any additional time. So it is very important that you are working with purpose. All right. Have a great day.